Hi, my name is George Salmatas and I'm glad that I will be your instructor for today. It is a pleasure for me to welcome you at the Effective Email Communication course. In this course, we'll see what we mean when we say effective communication via an email. We'll focus onto the points we must emphasize to avoid mistakes. And finally, we'll see some strategic ways that will make your written communication much easier. In this lesson, we'll see which reasons makes effective email communication an important issue to consider about. We'll mention some negative effects we may have if we don't use it appropriately. We will analyze and understand the procedure that takes place when we send and receive an email. We'll recognize the email types we have. Finally, we'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages we have when we use written communication. We must admit it's impressive that many professionals don't know yet how important email communication is during our age. Most of them delay to respond in a message or they don't respond at all. If you, as a business, manage to use email in a professional way, you'll have many competitive advantages in your communication. You'll have increased speed and effectiveness at your daily responsibilities. Misconception in your incoming messages may happen. They'll have negative effects such as wrong actions or no actions at all. If we learn to use our email written communication appropriately, we'll protect our business etiquette. We'll describe all the basic rules of an effective email communication in a business, and will provide some advices how to escalate information in a correct way. We can send emails in two ways. Firstly, by an installed software, email client, as IT pros describe it, in our computer. One of the most known email clients is Microsoft Outlook. Secondly, we can use an email web service via our web explorer. We call this method web email. It can be free by companies such as Google or Yahoo, or it can be provided by our company. We don't need to have any installed software in our computer. When we send an email from our computer, this passes through our email provider. Then, it travels via the web to the recipient's email provider servers. At this point, email provider tests it for first time for spam, phishing, and virus issues. If the email provider have not found any problem, email goes directly to the email clients of the recipient and tested for second time. The final test happens by the recipient itself when he reads the email subject and email sender's address before he opens the email. We must care about correct email account structure so that it can be sent from our computer and our email provider. Otherwise, it will be returned to us. Compliance with specific sending rules. We don't want our message to be marked as spam by the recipient's email provider or the recipient's email client. Compliance with specific communication guides to maximize the opening rate and understanding of our email message. Emails can have two formats, HTML or plain text format. In HTML format, we can apply color or font styles, we can import images, backgrounds, or hyperlinks in an anchor text. This will attract our recipient and will show him in an easier way the important sentences he should read. In plain text format, we send or receive an email without any formatting. Several companies with IT departments prefer plain text format messages to avoid dangers such as viruses. In case sender sends an email in HTML format and recipient receives it in plain text format, email loses its formatting. If we want to include a hyperlink in plain text format, we can put it separately, not in an anchor text. Let's have a look at the email's advantages and disadvantages. Advantages first. Cheap price. After the account creation, we don't have any further costs. High fidelity. We can send or receive emails and attachments in a secure and reliable way. Easy of use. It's very easy to check and manage our emails. We can access our data and our contacts wherever we have web access. Priorities identification. Incoming messages have email subjects which provide us the capability of identifying the reason of the email message without opening it. Speed. Email is one of the quickest ways of written communication. Flexible access. Web emails can be accessed almost from everywhere. Ecology. Although PCs don't help for green energy, use of emails have great energy savings in environmental costs. Simultaneous access to large audience. We can send our messages to multiple recipients at the same time. If we have a task to do, a product or service we want to promote, email consists one of the best information tools. Send reminders, meetings information. We can add reminders or organize meetings between collaborators. Next, we'll see some disadvantages of the email usage. Emotional reactions. Some emails make us upset. We must be careful because if we respond immediately without thinking first, we can't refute our answer. Info overload. Several people send a ton of information at the same time. All of them think that their message must be sent by written communication, and they mark it as important. We do not always have to send emails. With the effective use of emails, we learn to save time. Lack of personal contact. If we do not have often personal contact, sometimes problems may be caused, such as misconceptions, misunderstandings, and wrong operations. Misconceptions. They may happen from both sides, senders and recipients. For example, we didn't spend enough time and attention to write the message before we send it, or we didn't understood the action we must have done when we read the message. Time loss and wrong operation as a result may happen. We can't stay inactive because our incoming messages will be increased and it will be difficult to manage them. This will guide us to data or time loss. Spam. Spam messages are one of the major time and information loss factors. They also distract us from the work order. Non-productive time absorption. Monitoring our email too frequent disorients us and creates a passive activity that is detrimental to to productivity in everyday working duties. The size of text in an email depends on its subject. The greater the length of a text in an email, it costs us valuable time. Although email messages aren't the ideal mean for short speech, there are specific communication tips to communicate quickly and effectively. We call them email abbreviations, and we'll speak about them later in our course. Viruses can lead us to significant performance or data loss. Phishing messages may lead to leakage of our company's key confidential information. The average user should definitely be aware of the basic rules of recognition of electronic messages that are likely to contain viruses. Let's have a review on the issues we have discussed about in this introductory module. We have mentioned the reasons we need more efficient emails. We referred to possible negative effects brought about by the misuse of email. We analyzed the process that occurs when sending and receiving an email. We met types of emails available, and finally, we analyzed the advantages and disadvantages exist in electronic written communication.